Hello, this is Edith Newmeyer, and I'm the author of the book, The Mystery of Adam. Well, as you know that if you have been following me, I am not um, talking about my book at this time. I'm continuing to do research on my new book. And so right now I'm doing a specific section on the Antichrist spirit. So here we go today. Um, and I do a lot of reading today from Isaiah and Jeremiah. And I want to continue to talk, like I said, about this Antichrist spirit. And what I see the Antichrist spirit, or you can also say anti-Messiah spirit, because see, in the Old Testament, this whole spirit and this whole movement that Satan started was against Messiah, against the Jews accepting their Messiah and turning from God. Because eventually, when Jesus came, when the Messiah came, they couldn't accept him. Even today, they still cannot accept Jesus Christ as the Messiah. Okay? And so, this anti Messiah spirit is keeping them from seeing their Messiah, which is just really, really horrible. And this anti Messiah spirit started a long time ago. Long time ago. Again, I said, even during, you know, Adam's time. Okay, people left the true um, belief in Messiah and walked after false gods, which are anti-God, anti-Messiah. Okay, they wanted their own king, and they didn't stop at just wanting their own king. They also wanted their own gods, and so God destroyed the kingdom of David. Okay, because his son Solomon followed idols. And so today we read that again, and that, goes all the way down, not just through the kingdom now of Israel, but also the kingdom of Judah, which were divided after King Solomon. And so I said that the kingdom of Israel already, from the beginning, sinned and did idolatry, whereas Judah was more mixed. They had a lot of they had some kings that brought them back, and they had the prophets, especially Jeremiah and Isaiah, who would speak and try to bring them back. Of course, I didn't listen. So I am today reading again. I'm going to show you clearly that number one, the right to dwell in the promised land, to inherit the promised land, is very, well, it's not very close. It depends on, period. It depends on keeping the commandments and only worshiping God. If you leave that, then you will not inherit the kingdom, which is also you will not inherit the promised land. Okay, so I'm going to read that and show that today, that it's dependent on the Jews and just anybody. In order for you to inherit the promised land that was promised to Abraham, you have to be a believer and you have to follow the God of creation. Okay? And so I'm going to read a text about the temple. Okay? Now, first, let's read actually what Isaiah says about the temple. Now, God allowed them the temple. Okay? He allowed them because they insisted, just like they insisted on a king. So God allowed the king. And so God also kind of allowed the temple because, oh boy, they needed this temple or else they, whatever. I don't know. But we know that the real temple of God, the tabernacle, is a shadow of the real temple that God will build, that the Messiah really will build. Okay? And that is the church. And that's the real temple. And this other temple is a temporary place which the Israelites or the Jews wanted. Okay? But maybe God gave it to them to show them, hey, you cannot even worship me even if you have a temple, okay, or a house of the Lord, or whatever he calls it. He called it the house that was named by my name. So, anyways, here's one in Isaiah 66. It shows us that God had no interest in a temple made out of stone. He said, "Thus says the Lord, heaven is my throne, and the earth is my footstool. Where then is a house you could build for me? And where is a place that I may rest? For my hand made all these things. Thus all these things came into being, declares the Lord. But to this one I will look, to him who is humble and contrite of spirit, and who trembles at my word." Okay, but then he continues in verse 3. "But he who kills an ox is like one who slays a man. He who sacrifices a lamb is like the one who breaks a dog's neck. He who offers a grain offering is like one who offers swine blood. He who burns incense is like the one who blesses an idol. As they have chosen their own ways, and their souls delights in their abominations, so I will choose their punishment, and I will bring on them what they dread, because I called, but no one answered. I spoke, but they did not listen, and they did evil in my sight, and chose that in which I did not delight. Hear the word of the Lord, you who tremble at his word. Your brothers who hate you, who exalt you for my name's sake, have said, let the Lord be glorified, that we may see your joy. But they will be put to shame. Okay, and I can continue, and you can continue reading it. But the point here is that God does not delight in this temple worship because it is empty. Okay, it's an empty worship. Okay, we kill animals, we sacrifice, we offer incense, and yet everything is empty. Why? Because they're already strayed from God and worship idols. So all it is a ritual. They go in and they think they commit idolatry, and then they think they come back to the temple and make everything okay. And God says, no, I hate that. That is not what I had in mind. And again, I didn't even have in mind to have a temple. Okay? You wanted a temple. I allowed you to build a temple, but look what you did with my temple. You made it a whatever wasteland, or you made heresy out of it. Okay? You destroyed the idea of what a temple is supposed to be. So now let's go to Jeremiah. So you see that God has no intention in having that temple, because maybe he knew from the beginning that they will never ever use it in the right way. So here is Jeremiah saying to them the same kind of thing. Is, look, you're using my temple, but really you're just continuing sinning. And we start in Jeremiah 7. And I don't know if I said that. I hope I did. Isaiah, what did I see? 66. Yeah, Isaiah 66. So now we're in Jeremiah 7, and we start with verse 2. Stand in the gate of the Lord's house. And see here he calls it the Lord's house. And proclaim there this word and say, hear the word of the Lord, all you of Judah. So he's talking to Judah right now, okay? The kingdom of Judah. Who enter by these gates to worship the Lord. Thus says the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel. Amen, amen, your ways and your deeds, and I will let you dwell in this place. Okay? Do not trust in deceptive words, saying, this is the temple of the Lord, the temple of the Lord, the temple of the Lord. For if you truly aimed your ways and your deeds, if you truly, or amend, if you, for if you truly amend your ways and your deeds, if you truly practice, that's what it's amend, and if you truly practice justice between a man and his neighbor, if you do not oppress the alien, the orphan, or the widow, and do not shed innocent blood in this place, nor walk after other gods to your own ruin, then I will let you dwell in this place, in the land that I gave to your fathers forever and ever. Now, do you hear that? There is a stipulation, okay? There is a contract here. If you do things right, then I will let you dwell not only in this temple, but also in the land that I've given to your fathers. That's what he says right here. Okay, not unless you do this. Okay, and he says that I gave to your fathers forever and ever. Okay, only if you do the right thing will that land belong to you. No other way. If you do not walk in God's ways, you will not be able to keep this land. Okay? Over and over, God proves that. You will be kicked out. Okay? Send them in captivity. After 70 AD, he scattered them all over the world. Why? Because they did not follow the commandments. So this promise is not a promise that has no consequences. They have to do certain things in order for this promise to work. It's a contract. Behold, you are trusting in deceptive words to no avail. Okay, see? Behold, you are trusting in deceptive words to no avail. Okay, what are those deceptive words? These deceptive words is, oh, we're going to get the land no matter what. We don't have to, obey God. God promised us the land. No, that's not what it says here. Okay, he promised the land if you will listen, if you will follow his commandments. Okay, then I will let you dwell in this place, in the land that I gave to your fathers forever and ever. Behold, you are trusting in deceptive words to no avail. Will you steal, murder, and commit adultery, and swear falsely, and offer sacrifices to Baal, walk after other gods that you have not known? Then come and stand before me in this house, which is called by my name, and say, we are delivered, that you may do all these abominations. See, that's what they were doing. Okay, they were doing all these abominations, and then they came into the temple and offered sacrifices and thought, everything is going to be good now. No, that's not the way it went. Okay, that's why he said he wants a repentant heart. Okay, I mean, truly repentant. If you have a truly repentant heart, you turn from your ways. And that's what King Solomon never did. Okay, he worshiped idols, but he never turned back from God, and that's why he cut him off. If he would have repented, he would have not cut him off. If he would have been like his father David and repented, then he would have not cut him off. But he did. Okay. Has this house, which is called by my name, become a den of robbers in your sight? Behold, even I, have seen it, declares the Lord. But go now to my place, which was in Shiloh. See, that's where the tabernacle was at first when they came into the promised land. Tabernacle was in Shiloh, and where I made my name dwell at the first, and see what I did to it because of the wickedness of my people Israel. You see, in Shiloh, the kingdom of Israel continued to um, worship in Shiloh after the kingdom was split. Okay, and so they continued there. So that's why he's saying, "Of my people Israel," because Israel continued to worship there, and the people from Judah and of course the tribe of Benjamin worshipped in Jerusalem. Okay, so now he says, "Look at what I have done with those people." Um, where's Shiloh now? Okay. And now because you have, and I am reading now verse 13. And now because you have done all these things, declares the Lord, and I spoke to you rising up early and speaking, but you did not hear, and I called you, but you did not answer. Therefore I will do to the house which is called by my name, in which you trust, and to the place which I gave you and your fathers, as I did to Shiloh. Okay, what did he do to Shiloh? And he's talking about the kingdom of Israel. And I will cast you out of my sight, as I have cast out all your brothers, all the offspring of Ephraim. Now, Ephraim was the main tribe of that kingdom of Israel. They were the leaders. And Ephraim is a son of Joseph. Okay? So he becomes symbolic of of these tribes that were split away, that went away from Judah. Okay, so that's why all the offspring of Ephraim, but Ephraim is here a type of all the people of Israel, the 10 tribes that left. As for you, do not pray for this people, and do not lift up cry or prayer for them. Do not intercede with me, for I do not hear you. You see that? He says, don't pray for Israel. Okay? Don't even cry for them. Because I'm done with them. Okay? Why? Do you not see what they are doing in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem? Okay? So, again, see, we can stop here. This is what God says. You are not following me. You worshiping idols. I don't want to have anything to do with you. You don't deserve the promised land. Okay? That's what God is saying. And guess what? That is something, the end result of this anti-Messiah spirit, anti-God spirit, which Satan sowed. Okay? And King Solomon was part of this whole thing. King Solomon did not start on the right foot. He really started this idol worship. And I can say it goes back to King Solomon, who did not raise his son the correct way. Okay, and so his son strayed and did idol worship right away, and his descendants. Okay, and what did God say? I'm going to take the kingdom away from him, and I'm going to leave you Judah, but not for the sake of Solomon, but for the sake of David. Okay, not for the sake of Solomon, because he was not a good guy. David, because I promised it to David. So now let's go back to Isaiah, because now we see the same thing. Remember, Isaiah and Jeremiah they lived around the same time, and they were prophets around the same time, and they were prophesying and trying to get the Israelites and Judah to come back to the Lord. But Israel went, and we saw that right away. So now Isaiah is still harping on Judah. Okay, and so here is what he said and now we're going to go to Isaiah 65 because I want to read that as well. Again, here I'm going to start out with 65. I'm going to start with 2, because you can see here again how God is screaming after Judah, but they're not returning. I've spread my hands all day long to a rebellious people who walk in the way which is not good, following their own thoughts. A people continuously provoke me to my face, offering sacrifices in gardens and burning incense on bricks, who sit among graves and spend the night in secret places, who eat swine flesh, and the broth of unclean meat is in their pots, who say, keep to yourself, do not come near me, for I am holier than you. These are smoke in my nostrils. Okay, so they're here even are conceited thing. Well, I'm better than you. I'm better than you. But yet they are worshiping idols and they're doing all these abominations before God, but they're saying, well, we're really much better than you guys. Um, a fire that burns all the day. Behold, it is written before me, I will not keep silent, but I will repay. I will even repay into their bosom both their own iniquities and the iniquities of their fathers together, says the Lord, because they have burned incense on the mountains and scorned me on the hills. Therefore I will measure their former work into their bosom. Thus says the Lord, as the new wine is found in clusters, and 1 days do not destroy it, for there is benefit in it. So I will act on behalf of my servants in order not to destroy all of them. And I will bring forth offspring from Jacob and in an heir of my mountains from Judah. Now, see here saying, even though these people were bad, okay, these people are bad, I will still preserve a remnant. Why? For the sake of my servants, for the sake of Jacob. I will bring forth offspring from Jacob and an heir of my mountains from Judah, okay, which is the heir out of David, which is Messiah. And my servants will dwell there, okay, and the Sharon shall be a pasture land for flocks. See, here is now talking about that, yes, this land will belong to my servants. So now, who are those servants, this remnant that is left over? Okay, is that Judah? Yes, he is saying out of Judah he will bring forth this Messiah, right? But who are these people? Well, we're going to have to go to the beginning now of 65, verse 1, where he says, I permitted myself to be sought by those who did not ask for me. Who are those people? I permitted myself to be found by those who did not seek me. Who are those people? I said, here I am, to a nation which did not call on my name. Who are those people? Okay, this is what we now need to think about. Now, it can be the Jews. It is not Judah. It is not even Israel. Who are these people? He's talking about to a nation which did not call on my name. Okay, a nation. And it probably would be better to say nations, because he wanted to be found by all the nations of this world. Okay, he is allowing all the nations who did not originally seek me, like the Jews originally did seek him. Abraham and his descendants, they were seeking him. Well, some of them, not all of them. But So now he wants to be seen by somebody who's not calling upon his name. That's what? That's the Gentile nations. Okay, those are that. This is verse 165:1 in Isaiah. That is talking about the Gentile nation. Okay, that God now is calling. He is done with Israel. He's done with Judah, and he is now calling for the Gentile nations. And he is not totally done, but he's done with Israel and Judah as a whole. Okay, there's still going to be people, few people, a remnant that is listening to him. Okay, and those, of course, are included. He's not rejecting people that are seeking after him from Israel. It doesn't. Okay, they're all included. But now um, he is looking at other people. Of course, at this point in Isaiah and Jeremiah, he was not finished bringing forth Messiah, because only Messiah can cause for the Gentiles to look upon him. I listened to a rabbi just recently, again on the end times, and he was saying that one of their sages or one of their um, learned man uh, was saying that God allowed even Christians and the Christian and Muslim faith, for people to come to the true God, to the true Creator. And for me, that was kind of interesting that a Jew would write that. But that's what he said. He said these religions were really used, okay, allowed by God for people to actually look at God as one God and leave all the idol worship behind them. And that's exactly what the Christians do. They have looked at Messiah, and because they looked at Messiah, they could leave idol worship behind and just focus it on that one God of Israel. Um, and that is in itself really, really great. So again, read these verses in Isaiah 65 and 66 and Jeremiah, what was it? I need to check. Jeremiah, Jeremiah 7, 2 through 28. Okay? You can see what I am talking about this Antichrist spirit who's trying to get the Jews to reject not only God, but their Messiah, because that's what happened. They rejected God at first. They committed, adultery with other idols, and that continued and continued until they actually rejected Messiah because of their warped and their confused brain. And of course, that again then opened the door for the Gentiles to accept Messiah because there was nobody left. The Jews have rejected him, they rejected God, and so God is turning to the Gentiles, as we can hear right there in Isaiah 65:1. Then he turns to the Gentiles, and the Gentiles flock to the Messiah. Okay? Now, I'm not saying that the Jews don't, because there were Jews that accepted him. Now, Israel on the other hand, that means the 10 tribes, they're now mingled with the Gentiles. Ephraim, that we listen to, Ephraim, again mingled with the Gentiles. And so now they also, of course, have a chance to again accept Messiah and come to God and leave idol worship behind. I will finish for today. This has been enough for today, and I will continue next time. And I hope this will help you somewhat. If you have any questions or if you have any comments, please leave comments. because I really depend on people's comments, because I need feedback myself. So I will finish up today. Leave your comments and let me know what you think. And keep studying.